This message is for the fiscal conservatives. The budget plan sounds great if you are fiscally conservative because they focused on telling you about tax cuts, supposedly eliminating waste from the government, and what they are terming higher take-home pay. However, it turns out that in spite of their tax cuts and higher pay, your bottom line will suffer and you will actually be worse off than you are now, which likely isn't great to begin with. Here's what they're not telling you about the economic impacts of this budget. Trump's tax bill will add up to $5 trillion to the national debt. The Fed is warning about the stagflation this will cause. That means slow growth and high inflation. In other words, your wages will stay low while prices go way up. Combined with what we're already seeing from Trump's tariffs, empty cargo ships and store shelves, higher grocery bills, this is bad news for the pocketbooks of middle-class, working Americans. The dollar is already weakening against the Japanese yen, British pound, euro, and Swiss franc. A weakening dollar means that imports will become more expensive. And since we import more than we export, this is bad news. And goods priced in US dollars will become more expensive to Americans. So all that money they say they are putting in your pocket, turns out you'll be spending that and more just to stay afloat, even if you don't depend on the services they are trying to cut, like Medicaid, SNAP, and student loans. And cuts to these programs will cost taxpayers money. For instance, who do you think foots the bill when uninsured people get sick and can't afford their hospital bills? Moody's just downgraded our credit rating due to our rising $36 trillion debt. It's the last of the three major credit bureaus to do so. This will increase the pressure on the Fed to increase interest rates. That means higher housing costs for you, lower stock values for businesses and investors, and less consumer demand, which is bad for small business. We've already seen the leading economic index decline for the last 5 months, with its steepest decline in April. And the dollar is likely to weaken even further as the debt continues to rise with this budget. And even hedge fund manager Spencer Hakimian is concerned. This is a continuation of a long trend of fiscal irresponsibility, he says. And this budget is all short-term thinking. The supposed benefits, like the temporary boost to the standard tax deduction and the tax breaks for tips, overtime, and car loan interest, they have expiration dates because they know this isn't sustainable. They're just kicking it down the road till it's someone else's problem. They grab what they can now and leave the economic mess for someone else to clean up. Now, let's talk about some of these cuts, like $12 billion less for public education. The reason you invest money in education today is so Americans grow up to be high-earning doctors, lawyers, and engineers tomorrow. And then you get a lot more revenue from them, even at lower tax rates. Cuts to education now means less money for America in the years to come. Funding for universities leads directly to innovation and keeps us competitive in global markets in areas like energy, medicine, biotechnology, computers, and other tech. Cuts to this funding will make us fall behind and lose out to China and Russia and India and others. And healthcare increases human capital. Healthy workers are better, more productive workers. Healthy students are better, more productive students. So in terms of capitalism, thinking long term, healthcare now means more capital in the future. The small dollars spent on education, innovation, and healthcare today are returned many times over tomorrow. The wealthiest people, who are the ones who gain short term from this budget, are only thinking of themselves and what they can get now. They don't care about what America needs to thrive in the coming years. Finally, this budget will result in the biggest transfer of wealth in American history, with all the money supposedly saved by these cuts going right back into tax breaks for the very wealthiest of Americans, those who make $1 million a year or more. So if you are a fiscal conservative, then you must oppose this budget, if even just for your personal bottom line, not to mention the damage it would do to our economy and America as a whole. So call your reps now, no matter what party they represent, and tell Congress to vote no on this awful budget. You owe it to yourself and to your fellow Americans.